to be talking about why sexual discipline is so important and why you should practice sexual discipline for not only for you but for your family and for your bloodline's sake. So, sexual discipline is basically disciplining yourself not to have just sex with anybody, right? Well, basically, sexual discipline is having control of who you're having sex with, right? So, when you practice discipline, I'm just gonna call it discipline. When you practice discipline, right, you're fighting against your own flesh. You're fighting against flesh. You know what I'm saying? And God tells us that the flesh is very powerful. The flesh can make us do things that we don't want to do, or the flesh can make us indulge in things that we don't want to indulge in because it's the flesh. It's 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 not, I won't say it's evil because God created flesh, but the flesh is sin. The flesh is already sin. He already tells us that the flesh is sin. So, you know, when you're on this journey and you're practicing discipline, um, you have to understand why your flesh wants certain things. So, why does your flesh want to release, or why does your flesh want to have sex? It's the drive to procreate. Okay, well, it's the drive. Well, if it's the drive to procreate, then I should be okay with releasing, or I should be okay with having sex with anybody, right? We're wrong. Um, that's actually the opposite. God. That's why God wants us to be with a wife and a husband, so that we can fight against the earthly pleasures and the pleasures of the flesh in the right way. You know, so it's not wrong if I have a wife and you know we are it's our honeymoon and we want to have fun. That's not wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's not wrong at all because God wants us to enjoy life. He wants us to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And having fun is, you know, being with a partner and doing what he designed us to do, which is procreate. But the urge to release is nothing but the urge to procreate. But see, when you release, you're not procreating with nothing. You just releasing your seed and you're getting weaker. You know what I mean? It's like you're not procreating with nothing. You know what I mean? And you're not even having sex when you're releasing. Well, when you're watching certain stuff, well, let me put it into context. When you're watching certain stuff, or when you're um how should I say this? When you're jerking your chicken, when you're jerking the chicken, you know, um you're not doing nothing. Like, it's not nothing that's really proactive. It's not something that's really getting anywhere. It's just a little bit of pleasure for the moment. You know what I'm saying? But when you have sex, you're releasing as well. But if you have a wife or a husband, that's okay. It's okay to release. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to do that because that's what God designed us to do, is release with our woman, release with a wife. You know what I mean? And so or for females, the husband, right? So like um so it's okay to release when you're with a woman, but releasing with multiple women that you have no special connection to, that's only gonna lead to spiritual ties, soul ties. And you don't know where somebody's soul is with God. You don't know how intrigued, how um deep that person is with God. You don't know how um what connection that person has with God. You don't know how um they maneuver about themselves. You don't know nothing about this person. You may not know nothing about this person, but you're having sex with them and laying down with them, and you're releasing your precious seed into somebody that might not even care, or is just gonna drain you anyway. Because she could be a succubus and she could drain you. She could just want to drain you. She could just want your seed and she could drain you of that. So that's why I say, like, if you're gonna do it, do it with your wife or your husband for women. Don't go around here just being all promiscuous. You know what I mean? Because that's like it's going against God, and it's going against your spirit man, because your spirit man wants you to follow what God has for you, but your flesh is to, because it just feels good in the moment. You know, once you have a relationship with God, you'll see that it's not right. And once you get on this journey, you'll start to gain that relationship with God. You'll just feel closer to God than you ever had before. And you'll just see that, doing that wasn't right, or doing what you were doing wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? Or indulging in pleasure wasn't right, or releasing wasn't right if it wasn't with the right woman. You'll start to pick up on what you were doing beforehand, and you'll start to correct that. So that's the importance of discipline.